What's up, everybody? We are Dog Awful Betting, and we're back here with another podcast today. Um, so just to get things started, we have some news that we'd like to share with you. So as a group, as our group, Dog Awful Betting is called, we signed up for the Circa Million contest here in Las Vegas. We are officially Dog Awful Betting is our entry name, and basically what that is you make 5 picks against the spread every week. You get a point for every win, a half point for every tie. And so at the end of the season, if you got the most points, you'll win up to $1 million. They pay the top 100 places. I think the 100th place makes about $2,000, so you double your money. But they do like quarterly payouts as well, and they actually do like it's called a booby prize. So if you get dead last, you win $100,000. And considering our name is Dog Awful Betting, we will probably win $100,000 this year, people. So we will be famous. No. So that's just something excited that us as a group we're excited for. We're going to share our picks throughout the season as we go along. We'll keep the podcast updated on where our standings are and just have a little fun with that. So we just thought we'd share that with you. But like I said before, we are Dog Awful Betting, coming to you from South Point Casino here in Las Vegas. We're here at the sports book, the only 24-hour sports book in Las Vegas. You can follow us on Twitter at Dog Awful Betting. You can search us on Facebook at Dog Awful Betting. We're joined here by Parlay Puffin, Steffi Sanchez, and Sideways Jarby. We're going to talk a little bit about the running back groups for each division in the AFC today. Just kind of, we're going to rank them 1 to 4, and just see what we think about the running backs this year, and what kind of damage they might do or might not do. Anybody else want to add anything before we get started? Nope. All quiet on the Western Front. Yep.
Good to go.
All right, boys. Let's dig in, because I feel like this is going to be a long podcast. We have a lot of information here. We all got rankings and stuff. But let's get this started with the AFC East. Does anybody want to go first?
Go for it, Knight.
Okay, so as far as my rankings go, I'm gonna start off with number 4. I put the Bills at number 4. I think with the way Josh Allen runs the ball, I think it takes away from what their running backs can do. Like they've had Devin Singletary the past couple of years. I actually like Devin Singletary, but like I said, I think the way Josh Allen runs, it kind of takes away from what they can do. They got Cook, Harris, and Murray, which is actually a good kind of foundation of running backs. But I put them at 4 because they don't really scare you. Like I said, you're more scared of what Josh Allen's going to do behind there. And then number 3, I got the Dolphins with Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. They both, between Mostert and Wilson, they both put 800 yards, put up 800 yards of rushing last year. Decent amount of catches between the two. They combined for like 50 catches each last year, or 50 catches total last year. So I like what they can do with Tua throwing the ball. I think that's a good balanced attack. Number 2, I actually put the Pats. I actually like Ramondre Stevenson a lot. 1,000 rushing yards last year. He had 69 receptions. I was surprised that he had that many receptions. And then you got Zeke as a backup, as a ground and pound type of guy. Like, I mean, if you got Stevenson out there getting 1,000 yards, you get down to the 5-yard line, you got Zeke pounding it in for 12 touchdowns roughly. That's how many he got last year. I think that's a really good 1-2 punch, especially with the way Belichick can coach the game. I like that a lot. And then number 1 is obviously the Jets. You bring Aaron Rodgers in there, and got to, air it out. And then you got Dalvin Cook coming in there to just pound it out. Like, Dalvin's probably going to get 1,200 yards. He's actually a decent pass catcher too. He had 39 receptions last year. So I like that one. Breece Hall, obviously, got to figure out where he's at with his injury. Make sure he's 100%. But you got to put them number 1, I think. So Bills at number 4, Dolphins at 3, Pats at 2, and Jets at number 1. Any disagreements there?
I actually had it the same, but I had Bills and Dolphins reversed.
Bills and
But
Dolphins. So you got Dolphins 3 and Bills.
I have Dolphins 4, Bills 3.
Okay, gotcha. All right, go.
But
So go
but
ahead,
I
give us yours.
well so so I had the Dolphins 4. I just don't think they have. I think they were banking on Dalvin Cook, signing with them, and when he went to the Jets, I think it kind of left him out in the cold a little bit. I mean, Mostert's good, but after that, they're just like they don't have any depth. If he goes down, if Mostert goes down, they're going to rely on a lot to his arm. Bills 3. I put the Bills at 3 because I know you probably shouldn't, but I am factoring Josh Allen into that run game. He's not a running back, but he plays like one sometimes. So I think their rushing attack can be serviceable with him, serving as a running back for 6-8 plays a game. The Pats, I have 2. Like you said, I like Stevenson a lot, and with Zeke coming in, I think, like you said, that's going to be a huge addition for them. I have the Jets 1 for obvious reasons, but I have the Jets 1 for a different reason than you. I don't know if Cook is going to be so much as a major running the ball. I think he's going to be used more in the passing game, out of the backfield. I think if Hall comes back, I think Hall will be more of the between the tackles guy, and I think they'll use Cook more as kind of a just in the passing game and on wheel routes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, with Cook going there, I think that obviously puts them at the top. I mean, I don't even think that's a question.
We got Seffi.
I agree with what most of you guys are saying. I don't know about. I think the Dolphins are deeper than Puffin's giving them credit for. I mean, Mostert has been solid. Jeff Wilson has been solid in places. I don't know what Miles Gaskin has left in the tank.
Yeah.
But then they've got the rookie. You guys, I'll probably be behind in this because I'm not a big college football guy. But the rookie they drafted also is supposed to be pretty solid. They've been talking about him a little bit, but the things I learned in this exercise really is there's just not a lot of running backs in the league that I do like. I know the position's kind of going downhill and being less relied on. I had the Bills last personally. I think they're unproven. I thought maybe they're throwing around Jonathan Taylor looking for trades. I thought maybe the Bills could be a decent landing spot. But I had the Patriots 3rd with Ramondre. They just don't have now that they signed Zeke. I think that's a big signing. It takes away from Ramondre a little bit, but I think they'll be solid overall. The AFC East, I would say, is not bad as far as running backs go. I definitely have with you guys Jets number 1. Breece Hall, even without signing Dalvin, I might have put them number 1 just because of what we saw from him. Hopefully he's healthy, but I think that the Jets are the top of the class in that division.
I mean, the Jets got Michael Carter too. I think he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, he caught 41 passes last year, 288 yards. So they have a lot of depth there. So like, even if Cook were to get injured or go down or not be as effective, you still got Hall and Carter there to pick up the slack with. Like I said, they're going to air it out with Rodgers. So, like, that's pretty solid. I like that grouping.
I do too.
All right. I of course am leaning towards the Jets as number 1 as well, just because I feel like just the whole new scheme, their receivers are going to call for a lot of attention. Rodgers is going to call for a lot of attention. It's going to open up the run game, I feel like, a lot, even though I do not like their offensive line that much. I do think that that's still going to be a big play for a 1-2 punch in the Jets. That's my number 1. Number 2 and 3, like, I feel like they are basically about the same. And the reason why I say that, I think New England last year, I found this out as I was researching this, they're the worst offensive line last year in run blocking, the worst of all the NFL. And so I think that, Miami, even though they may not have the names that some other teams have, I do think having Waddle and having Hill out there just they open up the field. I mean, even when Hill played with the Chiefs, even though we didn't hardly run the ball at all, there'd be sometimes a field would just open up because you had to have two receivers two backs guarding him. So I just think that those two are like 2A right there, and then I have Buffalo last just because, I mean, minus Josh Allen, there's just really not. But you still got to factor in Josh Allen in that, like Puffin said. It's just when you're comparing running back to running back, I just think that they are the worst in the division. So yeah, I've got Jets 1, and then Miami and New England kind of right there together, and Buffalo last.
All right, good stuff. So yeah, it seems like we didn't vary too much on the top there. I think once we get into some of these other divisions, I think we'll have different views on some of these guys. So let's head to the AFC North. So I'll just go ahead and keep going first here. So whenever I did my rankings, I didn't include the running back as far as their run game. I just went strictly by the running back position. So when I did the AFC North, I actually put the Ravens 4th because nothing about J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Melvin Gordon, Justin Hill, nothing about them scare me because of Lamar Jackson. Like, we know they're going to run, but I think they're going to spread it out but they're going to spread it out. But also Lamar's going to take a lot of runs himself. So as a core is just the running backs, I just don't think there's anything there that you need to worry about. And plus, they got the new offensive coordinator. They might try to air it out a little more instead of the whole run scheme that they've been doing. So I put them 4th. Number 3, I actually put the Bengals. I like Joe Mixon. He's very good. But after that, they got Travion Williams, Chase Brown. They don't scare me. Like, Mixon had 800 yards last year. He had 60 receptions though, but that's what they do. They pass the ball. They're a passing team with Burrow. So I put Mixon at Bengals in the Mixon at 3rd. I put the Steelers at number 2 with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I think that's a good solid 1-2 punch for what they're doing. Najee had over 1,000 yards last year, 41 receptions. Anytime a receiver gets, up to 40, 50 receptions, I think they're pretty solid top tier receiver. But obviously number 1, I'm going with Nick Chubb. Anytime you rush over for 1,500 yards, 12 TDs, I think you're top of the line right there. It's hard to go against Chubb here. Granted, they don't have any depth. They got Jerome Ford, Dimitri Felton. They don't really scare you, obviously, but Chubb is a workhorse. They're going to feed him the ball. That's why I got him number 1. What do you guys got? Puff, let's go in order here, Puff.
Okay. So I'll start with number 4. I actually have the Bengals at 4. I know Joe Mixon, he's good, but I'm kind of going to piggyback off of what Shane was saying about the Jets. The Bengals offensive line is trash. And I don't think that Mixon alone scares you much. I mean, I think, you take away the 2 outside guys, and I mean, you shut down Mixon. They don't have the depth. I don't think Mixon, and honestly, he's in some legal trouble now. I don't know. I haven't followed it a whole lot, but there's a chance it may come back and bite him in the butt there. But I have Mixon there. Then I have the Ravens at 3. Lamar, I don't think he's going to be the same type of quarterback under Munchin. I think he's gonna, like you said, Nat, I think he's actually going to air it out more.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a few run designs for him, but I think they're going to try to keep him as little contact as possible. So I do have them at 3, kind of J.K. Dobbins, not much really to offer there at all. The Steelers, I think Najee, I like Najee. I don't necessarily know that he is a premier back, but he's good enough to help Kenny Pickett manage the game and at least keep defenses honest. They're going to have to somewhat play to stop him, and that'll open up the outside for them. And then Browns, like you said, Chubb. I mean, there's nobody in this division that's even close to him, and I just think he's without question one of the best running backs in the league, and which puts them over the top for me. So
What do you think, Steffi?
So I originally, when I wrote these down, I have Ravens fourth. I think after listening to Puffin, I think I might put the Bengals down there just because, mixing the line. I don't have as big issues with the line as Puffin does, but just I don't know those guys behind Joe Mixon, and he's been great for quite a while, and he's got to stay healthy for them to have anything, and so they would be fourth. I'm going to change them to fourth. And Ravens, they have a little bit of depth. They've stuck with these guys. They seem to. It feels like Gus Edwards has been there forever, and we got old ass Melvin Gordon still there. But if J.K. Dobbins is healthy, I think that they'll be okay. My change with you guys is at the top. I have, Chubb is obviously the best. I have them in second place, the Browns.
Look at that.
No
Sure.
no depth. I don't see anything back there. When they were running out, Chubb and Kareem Hunt the last few years, you're like, wow, this two-headed monster is a lot to deal with. And so I got them second, Pittsburgh first. And I think Najee's been he gets the carries, that's what Pittsburgh does, but he's been pretty inefficient, I think, as far as running back. I think from what I've seen of Jalen Warren, they might need to maybe switch those roles and let Warren start taking over a little bit more. But we'll see. But yeah, I have Pittsburgh number one this year as far as the running backs go.
So you just said Harris is a little inconsistent, but yet you're going to put him number one over somebody who is consistent in Chubb.
Yeah, I think that you have someone who can step in and be a number one right behind Najee. I think the depth puts them above.
Okay.
As far as running back groups, I think if Najee goes down and Chubb goes down, I'm going to feel a whole lot safer with Jalen Warren.
I mean, I can see that, but if you got a guy that can rush for 1,500 yards, like it's hard not to put them number one out of this group. Like he's going to go out.
I won't argue with that.
I mean, he's going to go. Chubb, I mean, obviously, an injury can happen to anybody. So I think when you're making these runs, you got to go in with the mindset they're probably going to, in a vacuum, they're going to be, healthy. Am I froze?
no,
You're froze for me,
Oh.
right? No.
you are.
But you
Far
can hear
from
me. You can hear
Yeah.
me.
I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I think it freezes when you make a stupid statement. So
I just think. Okay.
Real quick before Jarvie goes. So you were talking about Chubb and 1,500 yards. So I just looked. So he had 1,525 yards. Najee had 1,034. Chubb had exactly 50 more carries than Najee Harris. So I think if Najee is healthy, I can kind of get on board with Seffi on this where, you give him 50 more carries, that's probably another 150, 200 yards just based on his averages. So then that gets him up to, 1,200 yards. That's, it doesn't look like that big of a discrepancy in the end.
All right.
All right.
Well,
What do you think, Shane?
one of you guys, except for the Browns being number one. Number four, I've actually got the Bengals still. There's just nothing about them that impresses me when it comes to running the ball. They're a great team offensively when it comes to passing the ball, but the line's not that great. It's just whatever. But I have actually the Steelers third. And the reason why I do is because I'm not impressed with Harris. Last year, he had over 100 yards one time, and he was fifth in carries. And 100 yards in a game one time overall season. And to me, it's just and they're a team that runs the ball. Like I said, they were fifth in carries, and only got over 100 yards one time. So I'm just not impressed, and I don't blame him because he's been doing this for a little bit now. And I know that the Steelers are always ground and pound, but everyone in this division is ground and pound. They're always relying on their defense and letting it happen. So I have the Steelers actually third. I have the Ravens second. The reason why is I do factor in still Jackson. They and their line. They led the league last year in run blocking and the run blocking rate. They led the league in run blocking rate. Think
What's
to
that?
myself, run blocking. That's what the Steelers or the Ravens had. And so to me, yeah, they might change their scheme some, but if you've got a good run blocking game, you're still going to run the ball some. So, I mean, I still have them too, just because I still, if Jackson stays healthy, I do factor that in. Again, I kind of consider, like I did earlier about Allen, you got to still be careful with that guy running the ball. I mean, surely when you look at Lamar Jackson, and I'm not even a Lamar Jackson fan because I don't think he can throw the ball. I just think to
Watch your
myself
mouth,
that
kid.
I just think run. I think I know Dobbins, if he can stay healthy, all that other is just whatever. But I'm leaning on that line being one of the more consistent ones in the division. And then of course I've got Chubbs number one, and
Did you say Chubbs?
yeah,
Just got done watching Happy
because
Gilmore.
why is Chubbs, because number two behind only Henry since like 2018 of total rushing yards. He's a stud. All right. He's not just a Chubb. He's Chubbs. I mean, he goes through that line. And I mean, to me, he's just number one when it comes to looking at everything else. And again, that's just how I go with it. I'm just not impressed with Harris. So I'm just moving him way down there. I just don't think he's that good, in my opinion.
Well, you're wrong.
That's why Warren should take over.
1,000 yards and 41 receptions says he is good. So let's move on. So I'm here. Is it still frozen on your end?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can hear you guys. You guys can hear me. Zoom says not responding. I hope it's still recording. That's why I'm not going to touch you because you can still hear me. All right, everybody, we are back. Looks like we had some technical difficulties. So we'll finish up our AFC group running back group rankings. We'll pick up with the AFC South is where we looks like we got cut off. So I have, as far as the number 4 in that division, I have the Colts. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor not being there, drastically affects where they would rank because he's such an elite running back. I don't expect, he's obviously demanding a trade. He will probably not be there. It'd be interesting to see where he goes. But anyway, Zach Moss doesn't scare you at all. Looks like they got Evan Hall. Kenyon Drake shows flashes of being decent, but he still kind of sucks. So they go at number 4. I put the Jags at 3. Love Travis Etienne, 1,000-yard rusher last year, 35 catches. But after that, they don't have anything. Tank Bigsby, Jermichael Hasty, Dearness Johnson. They're just kind of, that doesn't really do anything for me. So I got them number 3. I actually put the Texans at number 2. I like Damian Pierce. I like Devin Singletary. I think Devin Singletary is a little underrated. Obviously being in Buffalo and their type of, the way Josh Allen would dominate the ball on running with the rushing attack. I think he was a little underused in Buffalo, in my opinion. But he had 800 yards last year, 38 receptions in Buffalo. I think with having a rookie QB in Texas, in Houston, I think both Pierce and Singletary could benefit from that, hopefully. So I got them at number 2. Number 1, you got to go King Henry until he just completely runs out of gas. 1,500 yards last year, 13 touchdowns, 33 receptions, which I believe, if I remember correctly, was a career high for him. So maybe he'll start catching a few more passes now that he's getting a little older, which I think would add a lot to his game. 398 reception yards last year. So as far as I'm concerned, he's number 1 until, like I said, runs out of gas or gets hurt to where he just can't function anymore. Is this his last year as far as contract goes? I think it's his last year, I believe. So they're probably going to ride him into the ground. So he's number 1 for me. They don't have much as far as a backup, but they don't need it because he's such a workhorse. Like I said, everything's in a vacuum. He stays healthy for the year. He's not my number 1. So Colts 4, Jags 3, Texans 2, and Titans 1 for me. What do you got, Puff?
Yeah. Honestly, this was probably really the most difficult one for me, only because we don't know the Jonathan Taylor situation. They've told him he could request a trade. Well, I mean, I can't see anybody giving them the first rounders they want for him, plus paying him. At least not this year. So, like I said, it's really hard for me. I actually had the Jags at 2, and I had the Texans at 3. The Titans are 1 because of Derrick Henry, but I love ETN. I think he is a dynamic playmaker. I think it's kind of I put him in the same kind of category as like what you had with King Henry, that it doesn't really matter who's behind him. ETN, if he can stay healthy, is dynamic. He brings a lot to that offense, and he is, for me, he's a lot more dynamic and than anybody Houston has. So if we're going depth wise, then I could see why you would have Houston above them. But if we're just going straight, it doesn't matter who's behind him because of the type of player he is. I do have the Jags at 2. But like I said, the Colts, I mean, they're at 4, but they have to be because Jonathan Taylor's not there right now. So I think if Taylor comes back, I think they have an argument to be the best running back. I think Henry's a beast, and he has been for a long time, but Jonathan Taylor is really, really, really good. And he's young. And but again, even if he comes back, how dedicated is he going to be? Is he going to want to bust his tail, or is he just going to say, "Heck with you, I'm riding it in, and I'll figure it out next year." So
I think he gets traded personally. I don't think he'll be with the Colts. Like I said, he was given they gave him permission to seek out a trade. He's
right.
A team in the playoff hunt. We'd have to go through and look at the teams that realistically have a shot at making the playoffs. They're going to trade for him. He's young enough.
But are they going to trade? Are they going to trade a first round?
I mean,
Irsay's not coming off that.
Okay, I get it. So I was actually listening to the NFL radio today. Why wouldn't you trade a first round pick for him? So come next draft, if you need a running back, why wouldn't you take somebody who's proven that's going to get you 12, that is going to get you 1,200 yards, 50 catches, whatever.
He's been hurt. He's been hurt every year he's played.
I still think he's worth a first round pick. He's only 24, 23.
He's 24, and I think he's really, really good. I'm just saying that is a lot to ask to give up a first round pick, and then you're going to have to pay him top 2 or 3 money. I think that's a lot to ask.
Well, the money aspect, I get it.
Giving the running back in what it is right now in the NFL.
I get it, but like I said, if you're on the cusp of where you could make the playoffs and make a run to the Super Bowl, why isn't that worth a first round pick? Like, I mean, why are you playing football? You're playing to win a Super Bowl. If you have a guy that can come in and be your number one back and give you the type of production that he's capable of doing, injuries aside, like I said, injuries can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Injuries aside, like you got to give up a first round pick to go get a Super Bowl.
Because then you have a really good opportunity to turn yourself into the Rams, and you're mortgaging your future and a huge chunk out of your. I don't see if a team is that close to a Super Bowl, giving up a first round pick for a guy that you don't know that he's going to be healthy, and then you got to turn around and pay him $20 million. For me, no way. No way.
What good is the future if you're not going to, like, you can draft a first round guy and then never make a Super Bowl. Like, I say, if you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, you go win a Super Bowl.
You think that the running back position is a position that would put a team over the hump in today's NFL?
It's all about roster construction, obviously. Sure. I mean, like I said, it would take the right team. Like, I'm not saying you can just plug him in anywhere and he's going to take him to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. He has to go to the right situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see any of the top contenders in the AFC, at least, doing that. But I could be wrong. But nonetheless, my rankings are reflective of not knowing if he's going to be there or where he's going to be.
Right. What do you got, Stephanie?
I have the same exact rankings as 9 does. I'll agree with Puffin. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back. Even if he stays, how dedicated is he going to be? Is he going to care? We know he's unhappy. I don't see a team probably trading for him. I think he's going to have to stick it out there. I mean, they did the same thing with Eckler, right? They said go out and try and find a deal. Go do something. And where's Eckler at? He's on the same team. So I have them fourth. I got the Jags third.
Eckler's older. That's a little bit different of a situation. Like Taylor's in his prime. I get it. He's had a little bit of an injury issue, but Eckler's older. Like there's a huge difference there in age wise and what they can bring to a team. Just adding that as a little tidbit there.
Yeah, I got you. I agree. And they just, they're two of the best. And I guarantee there's teams that want him, but as far as giving that up for the running back position nowadays, I just don't know if they're going to find somebody to do that. But I have the Jags third. I actually think from 3 to 1, I like all these groups of running backs. I don't think the Jags are pretty deep, like, ETN and Bigsby and Hasty and Dearness, are they great? No, but they can get the job done. The Texans second, Damian Pierce and Singletary is a pretty tough duo. And then, like I said, King Henry, and I wouldn't necessarily put the Titans there. But I've also heard that Tajay Sharp looks pretty sharp. So
Tajay Sharp or Tajay Spears?
Tajay Sharp, I believe.
Spears?
Is it?
Yep.
Hey.
Hello.
Tajay Spears, yeah, he's my guy.
So you got Colts, Jags, Texans, Titans, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. What do you got, Shane?
Yeah, I just kind of left the Colts off. I just put them at the bottom because, like I said, the whole thing with running back. And there's also another running back that's out there for trade, too, from the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders. So I just think there's just not going to be a market for him at all, Taylor. So I'm just leaving them down there. I don't know what's going to come of him. So then I have Texans 3, like you guys. I have Jacksonville 2, just because, again, I think their offense is going to be very well spread in. What's his face is going to be out playing really, really good for a QB this year.
Who's what's his face?
The quarterback for I think a quarterback for Jacksonville. I think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. Yep, Sunshine. And I think that it's going to be a open the field kind of deal again. And I think they just got such depth at running back that I got them at 2. And I still ride with Henry. He was number 1 in broken tackles last year, 4th in yards per carry after he'd been in contact. I mean, this guy's just a beast. Even when they know he's getting the ball, he still destroys whatever in his path. And so until something happens, he's just a guy I'm going to ride down. I mean, until he just can't do it anymore. That's I think.
All right. So let's go to the wonderful AFC West as we talk about these guys. All right. So I'm going to get started here. Then we'll get to the homers here in a little bit and see what they think. So number 4 for me, I got the Broncos. I'm not big on Javonte Williams. But they got a little bit of depth. I like P. Ryan. He's pretty solid. 38 catches last year, 394 yards. They also got Peyton. I'm kind of curious to see what he does with that offense in Russell Wilson. But I still got him 4th because they don't really do a whole lot for me. I got the Chiefs at number 3. Just because like I said, it kind of goes with the Broncos. There's nothing there that really scares me. I like McKinnon, 56 catches last year, 500 yards. He's basically a 4th or 5th option receiver when need be. I like him. He doesn't do much for the actual run game, but I like his receptions. What happened to Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I thought he was supposed to be this huge stud, and he hasn't really panned out. Looks like Pacheco is going to come in and he's going to be potentially their lead back. I don't follow the Chiefs that much. Obviously Shane and Sideways Jarvie and Puff will get into the depth of the Chiefs probably a little more as they get every single tweet they tweet out. But number 2, I got the Raiders. Kind of depending on what Jacobs does. I think he probably holds out up until the very last minute, but I think he'll be a Raider. I think he'll play 1,600 yards last year, 12 TDs, 53 receptions, 400 yards. Like, the guy's a beast. It's hard to, I mean, if he wasn't in the same division as Eckler, I'd probably put the Raiders number 1. But obviously the Chargers are going to go number 1. Eckler is, I mean, the rushing aspect has kind of slowed down, but 107 receptions last year, 722 yards of receiving yards, 5 TDs. I mean, even though he didn't hit 1,000 yards rushing, he still had 13 rushing TDs. Josh Kelly, I think, is a viable backup for him. So Chargers number 1, Raiders number 2, Chiefs 3, Broncos 4. What do you got for me, Puff?
So I have the Broncos at 4.
Okay.
Williams, I like Williams, but again, he got hurt. You don't know what his health's going to be like. And outside of that, they're just the Broncos, and so I'm not too worried about them. Third, I actually have the Chargers. Eckler is a beast, but
surprise.
Well, I mean, they're the Chargers. That's just what they do. They get hurt and they don't perform. I think Eckler he's a good running back, but outside of Eckler, they don't have anything that scares me, during a game. They just don't. But that's where I have them. I've got the Raiders at 2. Jacobs is. I mean,
shit. Okay, go ahead.
You can discount a guy that has 9 receiving touchdowns that had more than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase all day you want because he's running back, but that's fine. But Jacobs at Raiders at 2 with Jacobs. He's a stud, but once again, you shut down Jacobs. They don't have anybody that scares you. They just don't. And the numbers show that. Now for the Chiefs.
Wait, who's number 1? Who's number 1?
The Chiefs. I mean, that's.
Wait, let me see your hat. What kind of hat you got on? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, numbers will back up though.
So another one over there. Look at that.
So looking at the numbers, first off, Allaire has been misused, mishandled. It's probably one of the biggest blunders that Veach has done as a GM. He's been useless. I can't stand him. But Jerick McKinnon had 10 touchdowns last year. 1 rushing, 9 receiving. Regardless of what you say, he is a running back that plays that position.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay. But I'm saying you were discounting it because you think he's more of a receiver. Well, he caught 9 touchdowns out of the backfield. He didn't line up at wideout.
No, I agree. I believe teams should have a good pass catching running back. I agree. It's all part of the run game. I get it. I just think as a whole, like, okay. I don't see how you can. Okay, go.
Okay. So Isaiah Pacheco, he got 170 carries last year. He averaged 4.9 yards a carry. That's the same as Jacobs, the same as Miles Sanders. Okay. Josh Jacobs is all world according to everybody. If you take his carries that he got, which is 170, and if you give him the same production as the top running backs, he plays out to have 1,600 yards. Okay. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. The Chiefs.
You can do that with a lot of running backs. You can do that.
It doesn't matter.
Let's guesstimate what they could potentially do.
I'm going by his production. I'm going by his average.
Okay, like I said, you can do that with a lot of guys.
What are you talking about? It's his average. That's what he did. He averaged 5 yards a carry.
I'll take under 1,600 yards then this year.
I'm not saying he's not going to get 350 carries. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you put him as the same production as the other top running backs in the league.
God,
His
where's Moody
numbers
at?
are
We need Moody here for this one.
Well, he's on a bender probably. The point is, all I'm saying is that he averaged 5 yards a carry. I don't care how many carries he got. The Chiefs offense is not going to give a running back 350 carries a year. It's not going to happen.
I get it.
But that doesn't diminish the production that he has, is what I'm trying to get at. But he is a stud. And you guys don't watch the games like we do. I'm telling you, the guy is hard to bring down. And if he gets 200 carries, he's going to be 1,200 yard rusher. And in that offense, that's good enough. And the depth that they have is better than any other team in the AFC West. You've been talking all night about depth for other teams.
I get it. They have some depth. That's why they're at number 3.
So why are they not number 1 on your list?
Oh, well, that's not necessarily true, but
You got Eckler and Rader. You got Eckler and Jacobs, who are
okay. But who's after them?
Kelly and Spiller.
When you have a workhorse running back, you don't necessarily need the depth.
But that doesn't make your running back group better. That's what I thought we were discussing. Who has the best running back?
Now we're getting all technical when it comes to the Chiefs.
Well,
look at this guy.
No, it's because all you guys do is it's all you guys do. All I'm saying is that Pacheco had 5 rushing touchdowns last year. That's going to go up. He's going to get more carries because Hilaire is not going to get the carries that he got last year, is what I'm saying. So for me, if we're going by depth and production and what they do, absolutely the Chiefs are the best running back group in that division. And you will see.
All right. Go ahead, Seffi Sanchez. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, in last place, I've got the Chiefs. Pacheco,
surprise.
Edwards-Helaire. These guys suck. Patrick Mahomes makes these guys. These guys are no good. They've got the best quarterback.
Okay.
He does open things up for them. That's why they get their yardage.
I mean,
he does hit them.
Yeah.
He hits them with passes.
But that's something
they get those passes. They are used in Andy Reid in this offense. Yes, there are opportunities for them. I'm going by depth and talent, and the Chiefs are last. Third, I have the Chargers. Eckler and Kelly and Spiller. I think
you got them
Eckler's
third.
Unhappy. It's kind of like a Taylor situation. He's getting up
You got
there.
them third.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They've relied on him so long. His usage. I mean, has he been hurt? Any major injuries? I mean, he's kind of counting his lucky stars. Second, I have the Broncos. Javonte looking good. P. Ryan, good backup. Okay. I think that they're set up better, and I have Jacobs said he was going to report to camp before week 1, so I have Jacobs and Zamir White as the top of that division. That's it.
Wow, we're all over the place on this division. Wow.
Shocker.
All right, Shane. What kind of Kool-Aid you sipping? Let's go.
Oh, buddy. Well, this is going to change the world again because I've got the Chargers last on this list.
Oh my gosh!
I just think
a receiver with 107 receiving yards. Are you kidding me?
Well, then
Puff. No, listen to me. Puff wants to hype up Jerick McKinnon for 56 receptions, 9 TDs, but you're not going to hype up a guy that's got 107 reception yards out of the backfield, 722 rushing yards. Are you freaking kidding me?
How many? What did that turn into for points?
Yeah.
What do you mean points?
I don't know, like a Brazilian.
How many points did he score? How many touchdowns did he have?
He had 5 TDs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. 5.
13 rushing TDs. Like I don't understand. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
All right.
Lost to the Jags.
I got them last just because first of all, I just think that they are they're a pass first team.
Eckler's not even really much of anything other than just
got them last because they're a pass first team, but he's gonna put the Chiefs number 1, who's a pass first team.
Oh, I got this last.
Oh,
All right. And here's the deal. Here's until Sethy reported to me, I didn't know what Jacobs was going to do as far as anything else. And I honestly thought that he might get traded just because the Raiders raid. I just don't trust anything they do ever. And so I have them number 3 because I don't trust I don't trust their philosophies. I don't trust anything they ever do. Jacobs is an absolute stud, so I just don't trust that they'll get anything done. I think that something's going to happen. Raiders are raid, and I don't know. I just don't trust them. So they are right there. If Jacob reports and he's in there, then they shoot right up there. Probably is number 1. But until he does, I just got them down there at 3. And number 2, I have the Chiefs. The reason being is, of course, Pacheco he runs with authority. I don't care what any of y'all say. All right. I've watched football and I watched Chiefs football for a while. Okay. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, yeah, he sucks. He's awful. I want him cut. I don't want him on the daggum team. I've been saying that for 3 years. This guy goes a yard. He gets touched. He can get touched by you, Nide, and he's falling to the daggum ground.
God,
all right.
bitch.
This guy's he's a sissy. I don't even want him on the team. But we also drafted a guy this year who's been showing pretty good skills and stuff like that. He's actually part of our return game too. So just look out. I just think Pierce, I believe his name.
Yep.
Look out, Jarvie says.
Prince.
I'm just saying. But I'm going to tell you right now, Pacheco runs with authority. He will when we get in those goal line situations. He's running. We don't run. We don't QB sneaks. Do anything. He'll run in. And he will have more than 5 touchdowns, more than 5 rushing touchdowns. Mark my words. Pacheco will have more than 5 rushing touchdowns this season. I'll bet you $5 on $10 on it, Nine.
Wow.
And well, I got Circa, and so then, anyways, but he'll have over 5. Well, that's what you guys post on the Chargers. You know how great he is. Eckler getting 5 touchdowns.
He said 5 receiving
Pacheco
and 13 rushing.
Yeah, so 18 total touchdowns there, Pony Boy.
Well, he won't get that because of also, but he'll be fine.
Okay.
How many rushing touchdowns did Eckler get?
13.
13.
Yep. Oh well. Where's my rebuttal? Come on.
I'm predicting Pacheco.
11 of them were inside the 5.
But I'm predicting Pacheco will probably have anywhere from 8 to 10. And so then
What?
I do. I think he's going to be
Oh, yeah.
good. Oh yeah. I think we're going to be. You realize we got rid of our offensive coordinator? All right.
What a monster! 8 touchdowns.
I said 8 to 10. And then I have number 1. I have the Broncos, and I know this sounds crazy, but
it is
Oh,
crazy.
But I think that there's a new philosophy. I think that I know that Sean Payton has always been like a throw heavy kind of guy, but he's also produced dang good running backs in his career. You look at his history of producing running backs, even when you think they are terrible, they actually put up darn good stats. And whether it be well, we know Kamara is really good, but also the guy that was before Kamara is always a goal line guy. He was always good. And before that, they've always had good running backs that was always good when he was in the Saints. And I do think that they will, he's a good coach. He's a smart coach. He'll do what he needs to. I have them number 1. And another reason why I have the Chiefs number 2, let me go back to this too. The reason why I have Chiefs number 2, I want you to compare offensive lines when it comes to this division. And I think the Chiefs have one of the best offensive lines in this division. And I think you got to factor that in as well.
You and Puff think the Chiefs have the best of everything at every position.
Well, like Sethy said, yeah, Mahomes makes that better. We obviously wouldn't be getting all these players if we didn't have Mahomes. And Mahomes does up. So that's you got to factor in. Super Bowl champs says it all. All right. So I got them number 2. So again, Chargers or Raiders 4.
2. Your shit.
3, Chiefs 2, Broncos 1.
So kind of going with what you're saying with Sean Payton produces good running backs. I'm with you on that. And this kind of goes back to our Jonathan Taylor back and forth. I think Taylor would be a good fit there. I think.
Well, they don't have picks. Traded every one of their picks.
I'm just saying. I get it. I'm just saying, like,
They've got the cash.
I think that would be a really good fit for Taylor if they could somehow figure something out.
But here's the problem with that, Knight. I agree with you that I think Taylor will be great with Peyton, but the Broncos are horrible. And I don't think they're going to be in any position to even come close to sniffing a Super Bowl. And so I don't know if, once again, it has to be the right situation. And I don't think Denver would be that for him, just because I don't think they're going to be in a position to be thinking about a Super Bowl. But
no, I just think that would be a good fit. Like I said, obviously
it's possible.
I mean, it's the beginning of the season. Anything's possible. But that's what I'm saying. You're trading for him. Obviously, with Peyton there, you got Wilson. You're thinking you can get to the playoffs and shoot for a Super Bowl. So, all right, let's wrap this up, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do the NFC divisions real quick. I only got 33% left on my computer, so we gotta bust through the NFC division. But we'll be back shortly, guys. Peace out.
Go Chiefs.